What's happening, my friends? It's Cast Sports again, back for another afternoon with the family. Now, as usual, before I get started, let me give a shout out to the JBT community. It's just boxing talk. We're a group of people who just love to talk boxing. And we're always looking for others to join us. And you don't have to have a podcast. The only requirement is you just have to love to talk boxing. That's all. That's all. Miss Cass, hashtag JBT. Showtime, the guy, PASS. Mike Mazik and Trump. Told you Trump loved those profiles because he's here every Friday. Salute, Trump. Salute to everyone. And welcome to another episode of Cast Sports, the Box Story. You know what time it is. If it's Monday through Friday, 2 p.m., it's the Box Story. And that's me, your friendly neighborhood box historian, bringing you all that boxing history. The greatest sport of them all. That's why we love it. Can't get enough of it. How's everyone doing this Friday afternoon? I apologize for the tardiness. Had a rough morning. Very busy. Had needed an extra half hour to get my slide display ready. Because I said I can't do it without a slide display. I got everybody used to the slide, so I got to do it. So, and got a whole bunch of them. But how's everybody doing this Friday? One more wake up. Tomorrow is the big day. The face of boxing gets back into the boxing ring. Over a year absence. He said he's happy to be back in there where he operates at, and tomorrow he'll be back in there. We're going to jump right into it in like about 5 minutes because I always wait till 2:30, but guess what? It's past 2:30. But how's everybody? Ready? 3 cards tomorrow. I've read something about Canelo's saying he's willing to fight Bud again, but he's asking for a lot of money again. So, I don't know. Canelo just want to cruise on to retirement. But we'll see what happens. Yeah, tomorrow is Tank versus Frank. We got Subriel Matias in there against Liam Paro. And then it's a card from London. Chris Billiam Smith is defending his cruiserweight title against somebody. I didn't check to see who it was. But today is the life and career of John Henry Lewis. I forgot to say it in the opening. Today, the life and career of John Henry Lewis. Okay. But yeah, game 4 of the finals is tonight. If you're a betting person, betting on Dallas would be a good bet for tonight in the finals. Okay. Boston has a 3-game cushion. They're in cruise control mode now, you know. What they call it when you're driving down the road. They're in cruise control. Yeah. They got 4 games to win 1. And 2 of them will be in Boston. But we're not going to need 7. I said 4-2 in the beginning, but now I think 4-1. Boston will get them out of there in 4. In 5. Dallas to win tonight, and then game 5 is Sunday and back in Boston. I think that'll be the end of it. They want to win it in front of the home fans. Well, they want to win it anywhere, but you know, it won't hurt to win it at home in front of the home fans. Give the home fans an extra reward on a great season, you know, win the title right there in front of them. But game 4 of the finals tonight. Let's get back to boxing. We're going to get ready to get into it. John Henry Lewis, the life and career of John Henry Lewis today. Sorry about my tardiness, but it couldn't be helped. I was doing my slide display and stuff last night, but I fell asleep. And then a rough morning. But everything's okay now because I'm here with my friends on Cast Sports, the Box Story. And it's Friday. We got the new show tonight. Mike said Celtics going to wrap it up tonight. Okay. Okay, Mike. They're going to wrap it up. That's for sure. I was just thinking maybe they get it at home in front of the home people. But I wouldn't be surprised because they are playing great basketball. They're playing some of the best basketball of the season right now at the perfect time in the finals. Wow. Flawless Mentality, hosted by Dr. Mark. Excuse me, let me say that again. Flawless Mentality and Black Excellence, hosted by Dr. Mark in the building. Got to get it right. You know, we're dealing with excellence here, man. Salute Flawless Mentality. Good to see you, bro. Always good to see Flawless Mentality in the building. Solid brother there, man. Yeah. But salute. We're going to get ready to get into the life and career of John Henry Lewis today. Great friend of Joe Lewis. You know, names spelled differently. Actually, they're pronounced differently. Like Joe Lewis, L-O-U-I-S is Lewis. And John Henry is L-E-W-I-S, Lewis. You know, so, yeah. But, yeah, they fought. That was John Henry's last fight, was Joe Lewis. You know, he was getting ready to, they knew the boxing commission was ready to take his license because of he was going blind in one eye. So Joe Lewis gave his buddy one more big bag because Joe Lewis was the cash cow. You know, like Frank gonna cash in tomorrow on the Tank fight. You cashed in on the Joe Lewis fight back in those days, right? And so let me get my good friend one good payday before he gets his boxing license taken away. Yeah. And then knocked him out in one round so he wouldn't have to do any more damage to his eye. Like I've been saying all week, that is quite a friend there to do something like that for you. Knock you out in one round so it don't have to hurt you too bad. Wow. Mm-hmm. And he still got his big payday, you know, and went on off into the sunset. And the man only fought 8 years. Well, I'm not going to say only, because anytime you go up them steps and between them ropes one time, you got my props. But he fought 8 years. But guess what? Over 100 fights. Average 14 fights per year. You know, that's probably what happened to that eye. That's a lot of pounding. 14 fights per year? That's more than one per month. But that's how they did it back then. You know, Henry Armstrong had 21 years, 30 in 2 years. So, you know, that was the norm back in those days. Yeah, that was the norm. Yeah. But let's get ready. Let's go ahead and do it because it's you know, like I said, I can't wait till 2:30 today because it's past 2:30 when I started right at 2:30. The executive vice president, Ms. Casper, saying, you know, you got to be on time today. You're already late, so you've got to start at 2:30 like you got on there today, you know, which is good advice. Yeah, how can you be late already? Supposed to start at 2 and then move it to 2:30 and then come in at 2:35. So yeah, I was on time. I was on time for the new time, 2:30. But we're here now, and today is the life and career of John Henry Lewis. How's everybody this Friday afternoon? We're heading to the weekend. We got the Tank Davis, Frank Martin fight tomorrow. Can you believe that it's here already? I remember when we were just talking about it, they were just announcing this fight. Now it's tomorrow. That is really crazy. Now it's tomorrow. Okay. But the life and career of John Henry Lewis is today. Right? It was something, yeah, I saw the thing about Canelo. Now he's saying he's willing to fight Bud, but he wants all his money. I didn't see the amount, but I don't know. What y'all think about that one? They have weight classes for a reason, and Bud is putting on a lot of poundage to go up there. He had one fight at 54 by that time, but it's still 2 weight divisions away from 54. You know? You can spar all you want, but, you know, you need to see under the lights how it feels at that bigger weight going rounds, you know, and getting hit by a bigger man over some rounds and stuff. You know, you can't simulate that stuff in sparring, man. You only get that under the lights. So he should have at least had one fight at 68 before jumping in there with Canelo, man. You know, I would have liked to. You see what happened to Mel, you know, on his money grab. So, Bud, you're undefeated. Everybody's thinking so highly of you after the Spence fight and didn't go up there and get smashed by Canelo. That's what we'll remember of you. So come on. I don't know. But if he goes up there and beats Canelo, man, his legacy is woo. Salute Lonnie Lee. We just started, Lonnie. You are going to see the whole show today. Lonnie Lee #JBT. And that's why I was hesitating just now, because I knew Lonnie Lee was coming. I started at 2:30 and it was in my mind, hesitate a couple more minutes, so Lonnie Lee will see the whole show today. Now we can start. That's what I was stalling for. This probably be the first time Lonnie has seen the whole show. So now we can get started. Lonnie Lee hashtag JBT is here. Okay. The life and career of John Henry Lewis. Okay. Got a nice little slide displayed for you. There's Thomas Hill. What's up, Thomas Hill? Hashtag JBT. Yeah. I got to call you later. I got to ask you a question too, Thomas Hill. I'll call you sometime this afternoon. I got a few things to do right after the show, but sometime. Because you 3 hours behind me anyway. It'll be 11 o'clock here, still early in California. So yeah, I'm going to give you a call this afternoon, T. Hill. But good to see you right now, my brother. Let's do it. The life and career of John Henry Lewis. Okay? Now, John Henry Lewis. He was a Hall of Fame American boxer, okay? He held the world light heavyweight boxing title from 1935 to 1938. 3 years, 3-year reign. And the Ring magazine, they named John Henry Lewis the 16th greatest light heavyweight of all time. I might have had John Henry a little higher than that. But he only had, but I keep saying only 8-year career, but the man had over 100-something fights. So I would have had him a little, I probably would have had John Henry in the top 10. But the Ring gave him 16th. So that's not too bad, you know. Okay. But his trainer was Larry Amedee, and his managers were included Ernie Lira, Larry White, Frank Schuler, and Gus Greenlee. Okay. Now, Henry fought out of the orthodox style, okay? He was 5 feet, 11 inches tall, had a reach of 71 inches. And like I said, he had a total of 117 fights in his career, just 8 years. That's a lot of fights for a 20-year career. 8 years, that is amazing. Anyway, he won 101 of them. He lost 11. He had 5 draws. And he won 58 of them by way of knockout. John Henry Lewis. Every time I see that, it just amazes me, man. 117 fights in 8 years. And I'm thinking that's what's the pounding on his eye. You know, he went blind in that one eye. Probably that's a lot of pounding. You know, that's over 1 fight per month. You know, 14 fights per year. That's at least a fight every month, man. For 8 years. That's a lot of fighting. Figure that. A fight every month for 8 years. Wow. But let's look at John Henry's early life, okay? Take a look at his early life. Thomas Hill in here. Salute, Thomas Hill. Good to see you, bro. All my peoples. Lonnie Lee. We'll get to see the whole show today. My brother, Flawless Mentality. Trump always here on Friday. Trump must like those profiles. Ain't no much to it. I know he does. Mike Mazik here. Showtime the guy. PASS. Our friend from St. Louis, Missouri. And you know Miss Cass here. The boss is here. Watching. Make sure I do right. I'm trying to get a raise. I don't know what I got to do. But, you know, I'm going to have to go on strike, man. I'm not paid well. Talk to Miss Cass, y'all. But let's look at John Henry Lewis's early life. Okay. Now, he was born in Los Angeles, California. Out there where you at, T. Hill. On May 4th, 1914. His mother's name was Maddie Drake Foster. His father's was John Edward Lewis. Okay. Now, when he was young, they moved to Phoenix, Arizona. Now, that's where he grew up at. Okay. He was born in LA, but he grew up in Phoenix, Arizona. Okay. And he was taught to box at a very early age by his father. His father was a former lightweight boxer, okay? And he ran a gym. His father ran a gym. His 2 brothers were also boxers, too. One of his brothers fought a lot on his undercards once he got up there and started doing main events. Yeah, one of his brothers was just about always on his undercard. So he probably had like 100 fights, too, I guess. But anyway, he had 2 brothers. His father and both brothers were boxers. And John Henry claims that I've talked about this guy, Thomas Molyneux, the bare knuckles guy from the 1800s. John Henry Lewis claimed that was his uncle, great uncle, or great something uncle. Wait, what could have been great? Because John Henry's back around the 30s and 40s too. I was thinking about now, but yeah, back in where he was, about great uncle. That's what he claimed. Okay. Now, he fought in exhibitions they called midget boxing as early as 5 years old. You know, he had his first amateur fight exhibition at 5 years old. Wow. Called it midget boxing. No wonder he was so good. That's some muscle memory there. You start at 5. Anyway, he started his professional career at 14. Okay? And just imagine, 14 years old, this man had already been fighting for 9 years. Amazing. But he gained a reputation for speed, and he was rapidly improving his scientific boxing skills. Okay? So let's get into John Henry's early career, because remember, he started professionally at 14 years old. Okay. Now, he had his debut fight was in 1928. Okay. Oh. And that was against, get up here to my slide display, by the way. Oh, there's Thomas Molyneux, by the way. The guy I was saying he said was his great uncle. Remember, I've talked about him before. Fought back in the 1800s, bare knuckles. Traveled all over the world fighting those bare knuckles, Thomas Molyneux. His first fight was against this guy here, Buster Grant. Was it Buster Grant? Yeah, Buster Grant. That was his first opponent. Okay, and that was in 1928. He beat Buster by a 4-round decision, 4-rounder, prospects, yeah. And that was in Phoenix, Arizona, his home. And he fought his first 14 fights in Phoenix, okay, where he lived at. Then in 1931, he traveled to Prescott, Arizona, fought a guy by the name of Sam Terrain, okay? Sam Terrain. Oh, let me do this. I'm going to keep my slide display straight today, I promise y'all, because that was a mess yesterday. I was all over the place. Talking about the guy fought for the colored championship, but he was a white guy. But I'm going to give you straight today. Okay? Now, he could have fought for the regular championship. Now, the fight against Sam Terrain, it turned into a tragic event, man. I couldn't find a picture of Sam either. Sam later died from some of the shots he received during the fight with Lewis, okay? And Lewis knocked him out in the 4th round. It didn't say how far after the fight he died, but it just said Sam Terrain later died after the fight. It was a knockout win by Lewis in the 14th round. Okay. Then on July 1st, 1931, he won his first title. It was called the USA Arizona State Middleweight Championship. And that was an 8-round decision against Lloyd Phillips. Okay. Okay, wait a minute. Excuse me. Give me a minute, please. Oh, goodness, I'm in the wrong place. Okay, yeah, I'm right. Lloyd Phillips, his first title. It was called the USA Arizona State Middleweight Championship against Lloyd Phillips. And this fight was in Mesa, Arizona. And the crowd booed, and they didn't like the ruling. They didn't like the decision. And it could have been a result of racial bias because Phillips was white and, around that time, it was pretty bad. And the crowd didn't like it. But the Arizona Republic newspaper called the ruling eminently just. The local paper said the judges got it right. Okay, then after that, he faced future world heavyweight champion. He fought James J. Braddock. I got James. There's James right there. I'm going to keep this slide display right today. I promise you. That is definitely James J. Braddock. Okay? He fought him on September 21st, 1932. And he beat Braddock in a 10-round decision. And this fight was in San Francisco, Civic Arena, San Francisco, California. And at the time of that fight, John Henry Lewis was only 18 years old, still in high school. That reminds me of Wilfred Benitez. When he won his first title, he was 17. And some of his high school classmates were at the fight. So John Henry was same situation, 18 years old, still in high school. And he beat a pretty good fighter too, James J. Braddock. Yep, 10-round decision. And they said that John Henry won 9 of the 10 rounds. The only round Braddock won was he forced the action in the 7th round. And that was the only round he won. So then that's why most of his early fights were in Arizona, because he was still in high school. Yeah. But he took a break from them after that fight and traveled to he traveled on the road to fight Lou Scarza. This fight was back in San Francisco. Okay? Here's my pen. You're not going to get me today's slide display. Lou Scarza. And there's Lou Scarza. Get up there, Lou. That's how you're going to try to trick me, move slow. Okay, fought Lou Scarza in San Francisco. He got a 10-round decision over Lou. Despite a half-inch cut over his right eye. And he got that in the 2nd round. Fought the majority of the fight with that. It was a bad cut. But he got the decision. And according to most accounts, Scarza had an edge in the 4th and 10th rounds. While the 3rd and 9th were even, Lewis landed cleaner punches. And in 3 rounds, sent Scarza back on his heels with strong right hands to the jaw. And he almost dropped Scarza in the 7th and 8th round, both rounds, with right hands to the jaw. And he had him pinned on the ropes in both rounds. Okay? So he got another 10-round decision. Then in 1934, he had 12 fights in 1934. He went 9 wins, 1 loss, and he had 2 draws. On September 20th of that year, he made an unsuccessful attempt to win the Pacific Coast Light Heavyweight Championship in Portland, Oregon. But he had a draw with Young Firpo. Okay? I got all of them. There's Young Firpo. He was going for the Pacific Coast title, but he had a draw with Young Firpo. So Young Firpo retains the title. 10-round draw. And the first 6 rounds were very close of the fight, right? But in the 7th and 8th and 9th, Firpo got a little lead on him, right? In the 7th, Firpo had an unorthodox style, and he used that to pull ahead. In the 8th and in the 8th and 9th, he got aggressive on Henry. Won those rounds too. And Firpo got tired at the end, and that allowed John Henry to catch up and pull out the draw with him. So unsuccessful in his attempt for that title. But he had one title, the USA, some kind of middleweight title. I forgot what it was already. Okay, then his next fight. He went up against light heavyweight contender, Yale Oaken. Okay? And he got a 3rd round technical knockout over Oaken. And that fight was his first fight in Madison Square Garden in New York, November 23rd, 1934. Right? Then the first couple of rounds, Oaken made a pretty good showing. And he stayed close because Lewis was a good boxer, but Oaken prevented him from getting out on him on points early in the fight, right? But then he staggered Oaken in the 3rd round. And after another couple of right hands, He dropped him for a 9 count, but he got up from that. But the referee called the fight. Oakland did get up, but the referee stopped it. Okay. Then after that, he went up against Frank Rousey. Okay. Frank Rousey. There's Frank. Frank Rousey. This fight was on May 10th, 1935. Another 10-round decision for him. Ray Patterson. What's up, RP? How are you today? Ray Patterson in the building, straight out of New Jersey. Little late today, Ray. You didn't miss much. We just started at 2:30. 2:40. Yeah. Wanted Lonnie to see the whole show today. 3 o'clock already. So we're going to make it. He fought Frank Rousey in San Francisco, May 10th, 1935. That's Frank up there on the screen. He won a decisive 10-round points decision. San Francisco again. Now, Rousey outweighed him by 8 pounds. And he lost every round except for one. But he lost the 8th round, but he got a good shot. And he almost knocked Lewis out in the 8th with a right hand to the jaw. The blow staggered Lewis and spun him around. But he recovered and fought back and made it through the round because he had by that time, Rousey needed a knockout, and he almost got it. Yep. Then he went up against Tom Patrick. I got Tom. There's Tom. Went up against Tom Patrick. That was the fight after Frank Rousey. This was in Millvale. I believe that's in Arizona, right? June 4th, 1935. No, this was in Pennsylvania. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, sorry. And he knocked Patrick to the mat in the first minute of the fight. Okay? But Patrick got up after 3. And then, after he got up, he went right back down. And this time, the referee stopped the fight. Yeah. Now let's talk about 1935 when he won the championship, okay? Won the light heavyweight championship. Because he had some kind of minor title at this time. Okay, let's talk about when he won his first major title. Okay, trying to make sure I keep my slide display together for you today. Now, he took the title from Bob Olin. Yeah, I got this slide display on point today. There's Bob Olin. That's who he won his first title from. It was on October 31st, 1935. Halloween, 1935. Okay? 15-round unanimous decision at the arena in St. Louis, Missouri, home of Showtime the Guy. All right. The JBT's own Showtime the Guy. That's where John Henry Lewis won his first title. The Depression was going on that time, and plus, the light heavyweight class wasn't that. People didn't have that much interest in it, right? And Olin's manager had a difficult time finding a promoter for the fight, right? And they was owed Lewis $15,000. They had trouble paying him for the fight, right? And the crowd was 9,219 people at the fight. They didn't provide enough revenue to pay the fighters, you know? Olin's trainer, Ray Arcel, he later wrote that his boxer lost the nerve to fight Lewis, and he had to be encouraged to change his mind and even take the fight. He probably wished he hadn't now. They didn't have enough money to pay him. Wow. But it was a great fight, though. Olin showed a lot of gameness throughout the 15 rounds. But he was outmatched by Lewis. Lewis was heavily favored to take his title. And a lot of people in the crowd, in the 12th round, they was urging the referee to stop it because Lewis was beating up on him, right? But he let Olin continue. He made it throughout. Okay, made it through the fight. And so that was his first title. In 1935, 15-round decision over Bob Olin. Then his first title defense was a month later. Remember I told you? The man had 14 fights a year. And he was that's one fight per month. So he won the title on October 31st. Guess when his first title defense was? November 29th, less than a month later. I told you about the way he fought. So he made his first title defense November 29th, 1935, right? And he lost it. Maxie Rosenblum. Okay? There's Max. He had his title for 1 month. Isn't that something? Come on, Maxie. Yeah, come on now. This is how I get off track, this kind of nonsense. There's Maxie. He had his title not even an entire month, okay? He won it on October 31st, 1935. He lost it on November 29th, 1935, okay? To Maxie Rosenblum. In a 10-round. Oh, excuse me. I'm wrong. The fight was a month later, but it was a non-title fight. Non-title fight. Okay. He lost it was his first loss to Maxie Rosenblum. Okay? Dreamland Auditorium back in San Francisco, California. $15-round decision. First loss of his career. Maxie Rosenblum. Okay? And in 1936, he went into that year with record 18 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw. Only loss was to Maxie Rosenblum. Okay? His next fight was against Tiger Fox. Oh, there's Tiger. Bear with me for a minute. I didn't hit the button by accident. Okay, let me get back down. Everybody okay this Friday afternoon, ready for the big fight tomorrow? And I mean big one. The face of boxing is in there. I'm coming. She me Christmas. I done lost my spot. Tiger Fox. That was his next fight. That's Tiger on the screen. Here we go. Tiger was one of the leading contenders for the World Light Heavyweight title, which John Henry had. And this fight was in Spokane, Washington, January 19th, 1936. He knocked Tiger out in the 3rd round. Okay? Both fighters came in above the light heavyweight limit. Okay? Now, Tiger occurred to fight to Lewis in the 1st round. He dominated. He was aggressive but unpolished. And then in the 2nd round, the tide turned. And Lewis took over. Let loose with like a dozen long-range punches. And he uncorked 3 long-range rights that left Fox off balance, and then sent them to the mat with a powerful left hook. And this fight left him sprawling, and the seconds had to carry him out of the ring. Okay? So he stopped Tiger in the 3rd round. Tiger Fox. On March 6, 1936, he defeated Eddie Sims. Eddie was a southpaw. Here's Eddie. Southpaw. There's Eddie. Eddie Sims. Okay? Defeated him. 1936. March 6, 1936. 10-round decision over Eddie Sims. Let's move on. March 13th, 1936. Now see, that's crazy right there. Listen to this. He fought Eddie Sims on March 6, 1936, right? March 13th, 1936. The next week, he fought Jock McEvoy. The next week. Exactly a week later. Oh, shit. Excuse me. I keep hitting the button. Say he fought somebody today. Next Friday, he had his next fight. No wonder he had 113 fights and 117 fights in 8 years. Fighting like that. I keep hitting the button, man. Bear with me for a minute. We're gonna make it. It's been that kind of day. That's why I was late. But yeah, he fought March 6, 1936, and his next fight was March 13th, 1936. That's probably, he took that pounding and he was going blind in one eye by the end of his career. That probably had a lot to do with it because that's a lot of pounding, Wow. And then the second fight was against Jock McEvoy. That's Jock up there on the screen. I done messed around and hit the button again. I keep doing it. Let me get back to where it was at. Jock McEvoy. There's Jock. Okay. This fight was in Madison Square Garden, by the way. Okay. In front of 15,000 people. And the majority of them was cheering for McEvoy. Okay. He was an Englishman. Now, why are they cheering against the Englishman against the American? Well, you know why. But McEvoy was a pretty good defensive fighter, too. And Lewis got a 10-round decision over him. Okay? His next fight, Bob Godwin. There's Bob. Back in the Garden. 2 fights back-to-back in the Garden. This was on May 29th, 1936, okay? And he knocked Godwin out at 127 of the first round. Only 2,000 people showed up for the fight. But he knocked Godwin out in the first round. And remember, he fought twice in March in 1936. This fight was in May. This is like 3 fights in 2 months. Okay? This is his 3rd fight in 2 months. This was on May 29th, 1936. Knocked Godwin out in the first round. Okay? Then he went up against George Nichols. There's George. Now, when was this? The next week again? Okay. Remember, he fought 18 times this month, that month. And this fight was on, when was it? George Nichols. August 12th. Guess what? Yeah, you know what year? 1936. So that's like 4 fights in like 4 or 5 months right there. Now, Nichols staggered him. This is George Nichols. Nichols staggered Lewis in the 5th round. Okay? But Lewis had, by the 8th round, Lewis had Nichols hanging on. And he got another decision. 10-rounder. Next fight was against Red Berman. Got Red too. There's Red Berman. Yep. This fight was October 2nd. You know what year? 1936. Yep. And he dropped him in the 1st round. Berman got up at the count of 9. And Nichols knocked him down 3 more times in the 1st round. And the referee was getting ready to call the fight, but the bell rang and saved Berman. So the referee let it continue into the second. Then he got floored again in the second round. Got up at 9. As soon as he got up, he got knocked down again, and the referee called it off. So what was it, like 5 knockdowns in 2 rounds? The referee called it after that. Then he went up against this guy from England. His name is Len Harvey. And there's the Englishman, Len Harvey. There's Len. Okay. This fight was November 9th. You already know what year. I don't even have to say 1936 because you already know. November 9th, 1936. There's Real Prison Talk with Tommy. There's his link. He has his link in there. Anybody who haven't subscribed yet, hit that link. Go do it right now and then come on back over. We'll finish up the talk about John Henry Lewis. Real Prison Talk with Tommy. Salute, Coach. That's Coach Thomas Morris, if anybody didn't know. And yeah, tonight too we have the kickoff of the Angry White Men show. William Old School Rant and D1 new show. Angry White Men, 2 Angry White Men. Okay, name fits them like a glove. So check that out at 7 o'clock, right before the hangout. I thought they should have made it after the hangout. Then they wouldn't be. They restricted to that 1 hour right now because they got to go off at 8 for it. Because we don't step on each other's toes. When we got somebody right behind us, we get on out the way, right? But in my case, I got Just Do behind me. I might as well get off. But once Just Do come up, nobody's gonna be watching me anyway, right? So I might as well go off at 4. But anyway, yeah. I tell the old school they should try 10 after the Rise podcast. That way they can stay on. And there's people at 10. If your show is good, there's people there to watch it. So yeah, that's a thought for them, yeah. Because they get the rolling good, and then 1 hour they got to go there off the air, But yeah, he fought the Englishman. Again in 1936, okay? That's how he ended up with 117 fights in 8 years fighting like this. And he fought for the first time in London at Wembley Stadium, okay? And he won a 15-round decision in front of 11,000 people over there, November 1936. And he was very aggressive against Harvey, and it caused Harvey to do a lot of clinching and stuff in this fight, yeah. Okay? Finally, he's out of 1936. Into 1937. Al Ettore. It's probably not how you pronounce his name, but I'm the King Butcher. Proud of it too. There's Al right there. Al Ettore. Ettore. Okay? February 8th, 1937. First fight of 1937 for him. It was in Convention Hall, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. 15-round split decision. Just a savage fight. Okay, 13,000 people in attendance. 15-round split decision over Al. Now the Philadelphia Inquirer scored it. They gave Ettore 6 rounds. Gave Lewis 9. Still a good fight. United Press International gave it to Lewis 8-7. So everybody had a pretty good fight. But he pulled out the 15-round decision. Very good fight. Okay? Then he went up against, he was at light heavyweight, but he fought a heavyweight. Okay? Willie Reddish. There's Willie. I'm keeping this slide display straight today. There's Willie Reddish. He was a heavyweight at the time John Henry fought him. And this was in Washington, D.C., Griffith Stadium, Washington, D.C. June 29th, 1937, won a 10-round unanimous decision over Willie Reddish. Okay? Yeah, please sub to Coach's channel, okay? Yeah, you're making all the rounds of all the chats, putting it in there, Coach? Because, yeah, there you'll get them, yeah. You just started it this week, but you'll get them, Coach. I know it's going to be good. Yeah, they don't know about you yet, but they will, no doubt. Okay, yeah, got a 10-round decision over Willie Reddish in Washington, D.C., Griffith Stadium. December 17th, 1937, Johnny Risco. I'm just going over them briefly because I started late and try not to go into too many detail because you know how time flies. It's almost 20 after now. But yeah, Johnny Risco, December 17th, 1937, Cleveland, Ohio, 10-round decision. Risco was 35 years old, nearing the end of a long boxing career. Now, Lewis built a big lead in the early rounds, but in the end, he started to coast. The United Press gave him 9 of the 10 rounds, with 1 round even, but a unanimous decision for John Henry. Now, he had 12 fights in 1938 and won all of them. Because like I told you, he fought around 14 times per year. Went 12-0 in 1938. Had a title fight on April 25th. 4th round knockout against Emilio Martinez. Okay, I don't think I found Emilio. Nope. No picture of Emilio. Okay. But he knocked him out. 4th round knockout over Emilio Martinez in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Even though it was a title match, the fight was not recognized as a World Light Heavyweight title by the New York State Athletic Commission. Now, Lewis took the offensive throughout the fight and received few blows from his opponent, Martinez. Okay. His knockout shot was a straight right to the jaw in the 4th round. A punch he used once effectively in the 1st round. Okay. Okay, his next opponent was Elmer Ray. Elmer Ray. There's Elmer Ray. He fought Elmer in Atlanta, Georgia. Now, this fight was scheduled for 15 rounds on May 19th, 1938. Lewis was still the reigning light heavyweight champion. He dropped Ray late in the 11th round with a punch to the kidneys. An old kidney punch. And he finished him in the 12th because Ray never recovered from the kidney punch. He got him late in the 11th, and Ray went down, but he made it through the round. The bell saved him, but he came out in the 12th. He wasn't recovered. And Lewis finished him off. And Ray had a 15-pound weight advantage over Lewis. And he fought in like a sideways crouch. And it bothered Lewis for a little time, a little bit in the early rounds, but he figured it out and stopped him. Okay. Now, July 1938, he was stripped by the New York State Athletic Commission. Let's talk about that for a little while, okay? Okay. On January 25th, 1939, Lewis attempted to become the first light heavyweight champion in boxing history to go up in weight, right? Oh, wait a minute. I got ahead of myself. We're talking about the strip first. That was in 38. On July 28th, 1938, the New York State Athletic Commission stripped Lewis of the title for failing to accept the challenge filed by Tiger Jack Fox. Okay? The New York State Athletic Commission was a pretty big sanctioning body back around that time. They had them and the NBA. They were the two big ones. You know, we didn't have no WBC, none of them. And the New York State Athletic Commission stripped him because he wouldn't fight Tiger Fox. That was just mandatory, or whatever they called it back then. Tiger Fox had filed to fight him. Lewis wouldn't fight him, so they stripped him. Okay? Now, Instead he fought Jimmy Adamick. Okay, there's Jimmy. That's Jimmy on the left. Come on, you're Jimmy on the left. Instead of fighting his mandatory, he fought Jimmy Adamick. Okay, and he beat Jimmy by a 10-round split decision in Philly, September 15th, 1938. They started the first 8 rounds with a commanding lead on points. The 9th and 10th, he was at risk of losing by knockout to his heavyweight challenger. Adamick was a heavyweight, okay? But Henry weathered the storm, okay? He outboxed and outpunched Adamick the first 7 rounds. But he appeared to tire in the 8th. And in the 9th, he was stunned by a crushing right hand that appeared to leave him unconscious on his feet before he recovered and started clinching, right? And Adamick could not get the final blow in on him, and the bell ended the round, okay? Solacing the crowd of 5,000. They was rooting for a knockout and an upset. In the 10th, Adamick got another one in on Lewis, a left hook this time to the body, okay? But Lewis used his experience and well-timed clinches to hang on. Dodging several of Adamick's best blows, Lewis gained confidence and lashed out with stiff rights to the face before the final bell ended the match. So he almost got stopped, but he edged it out. The judges gave 6 rounds to Lewis and 3 or 4 to Adamick. Okay? But he had been stripped of his title. But the New York State Athletic Commission stripped him, but he still had the NBA title, the National Boxing Association. They did not strip him, okay? Yeah, so I guess they were kind of like separate back then. You're gonna go with Tank, Ray? Okay. Ray Patterson says he likes Frank, but he thinks he's gonna go with Tank. Yeah. Wise move. You putting some money on it, Ray? Now, in October 1938, he made his final NBA light heavyweight title defense. Because he only fought 8 years now because, his eye, he started to go blind in one eye. But he made that final title defense against Al Gaynor. There's Al. Okay. On October 28th, 1938, he won a 15-round National Boxing Association World Light Heavyweight title decision against Al Gaynor in New Haven, Connecticut, before a crowd of only 2,400 people. Wow. That was the smallest crowd ever assembled for a title fight in any weight class at that time. But guess what? Ali and Sonny Liston broke that in the Phantom Punch fight in 65, was it? Yeah. They had less than that. They had 2,400 and something. This was 2,400 and 2,486. Ali and Liston had less than that. This was the smallest crowd ever assembled for a title fight at the time in any weight class. Now, the fight was recognized by the NBA as a light heavyweight title fight, but not by the New York State Athletic Commission. And it was sanctioned by the state of Connecticut, right? Now, Lewis, when he got strapped for not fighting Tiger Fox, right? He got stripped by the NYSAC. He claimed he refused to fight Fox because the reason he was stripped of because, wait a minute now. He claimed he wouldn't fight Fox because it was an economic necessity, as he knew Fox would not draw a significant audience. But you still got to fight your mandatories, Lewis. Okay? He said it was a money thing. But he won this fight decisively. Okay? But Gaynor made a stronger showing in the first 12 rounds than they thought he would. He visibly shook Lewis with a few of his punches during the fight. Now, Lewis took the decision with a strong finish in the last 3 rounds. Okay? The local newspaper gave Lewis 6 rounds, Gainer 4, and they had 5 rounds even, 15-round fight. Wow. Close fight. Now, Gainer's sluggishness in the last 3 rounds was a result of an illness he suffered the week before the fight. And there were no knockdowns in the fight. Well, if it was going to affect you like that, Gainer, maybe you should have just not taken it, right? I guess. I don't know. Okay. Now, his unsuccessful attempt at the World Heavyweight Championship, January 1938. That was against Joe Louis, the Brown Bomber. And, you know, it said the Brown Bomber, they were good friends, and he gave him a shot because he was going blind in one eye, and they knew that the commissions was going to take his title away from him to fight. He wasn't going to get sanctioned or be licensed to fight anywhere. So, you know, Joe Louis wanted to give him one more big payday because Joe Louis was the cash cow at that time, you know. On January 25th, 1939, John Henry Lewis attempted to become the first light heavyweight champion in boxing history to go up in weight and conquer the World Heavyweight Championship. You know, that was before Michael Spinks, Evander Holyfield, Archie Moore, all of them tried it, but this was way before any of them. But he lost the reigning champion, Joe Louis, in a knockout. In the first round, at 229 into the first round. Yeah, Joe knocked him out like in the last 30 seconds. And that was in Madison Square Garden. Joe knocked him down 3 times in the first round. The final time, he didn't get up. And Joe was hitting him with lightning flash blows. That was the only loss by knockout in Lewis's career. But it was his most memorable loss by many boxing fans. Yeah, John Henry Lewis. Then he went into retirement, okay? After Joe Louis. Now, his next fight would have been a rematch with Len Harvey in London. Remember the English guy? But it was canceled after Lewis failed the pre-fight medical test due to blindness in his left eye. Okay, see? Like I was saying. That's why Joe Louis gave him that fight to make that bag, because they knew this was coming. He had this first fight after Joe Louis was canceled because of the pre-fight medical test. The blindness in his left eye and impaired vision in his right was a primary concern, and he subsequently announced his retirement, age 25 years old. Wow. But he did get in 117 fights. But when he retired, he had a record of 103 wins, 9 losses. Oh, man. Me in my hands. And 6 draws. Okay, no, that's not right. I know he had 58 by knockout. He had 111 wins. He had 111 wins, 5 losses, 5 draws, 1 draw. And he had 58 knockouts. No, I believe he had 5 draws, 58 knockouts. I don't want to go all the way back up there. 58 knockouts, okay? Now, life after boxing for John Henry. Though he had always abstained from alcohol, he worked as a liquor salesman for a Baltimore company near the end of his career. He had 2 brothers who boxed professionally. Told you about them, Christy and Paul. Christy was a club fighter who often appeared in preliminary fights before John Henry's feature fights during the mid-1940s, primarily in Oakland, California. On an episode of the PBS show, Christy Lewis was actor. Okay, on Christy Lewis. Actor and musician LL Cool J, but it was determined. DNA analysis proved that Christy Lewis's. Let me start that over. On an episode of the PBS show, Finding Your Roots, right? DNA analysis proved that Christy Lewis, this guy, anybody know that guy there? DNA analysis proved that Christy Lewis, John Henry Lewis's brother, was actor and musician LL Cool J's maternal grandfather. So John Henry Lewis was LL Cool J's uncle. His brother was his grandfather. They found out on that show, Finding Your Roots. Remember that show? The show came on back in the day. People would come on there and trace the roots and find out family members, stuff like that. LL Cool J found out that John Henry Lewis's brother was his mother's father, his grandfather on his mother's side. Yeah. Yep. Lewis died in Berkeley, California in 1974 at the age of 59. He had suffered from emphysema and Parkinson's disease. Okay. Now he was inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame in 1994. Yeah. Made it to the Hall of Fame. John Henry Lewis. There you have it. Next Friday. I forgot who next Friday was. I hadn't really decided on next Friday yet. I know. Mike Mazik. Who did you put in the chat yesterday? I saw after the show you had said that you had put a profile in the chat. I never saw who it was. I guess I didn't go back far enough. But if you're still there, Mike, put it in there again. Okay. Oh yeah, I know next Friday is Carmen oh my goodness. The middleweight. King Carlos. What is his name? He fought in the 70s. He's the profile for next Friday. Middleweight champion from the 70s. It's one of the greatest middleweights ever. I can't think of his name. I'm gonna find it though. Hope everybody enjoyed the show though. Mama said, Carlos Monzon, that's it, Trump. Thank you. He's the profile next Friday. King Carlos Monzon. I don't know why I couldn't get his last name. Thank you, Trump. Yeah. And Mike, who was it that you said that Mike he must be gone, but he said he put a name in there yesterday. I didn't see it. That'll be next Wednesday. Because Wednesday is the shows that come out of the chat. Okay? Yeah. Yeah, today I wasn't as prepared as I wanted to be. I was late. Had a real busy morning. Got home late. But we got through it. You know. Yeah, next Friday is King Carlos Monzon. Thank you, Trump. And I'll see Mike before next Wednesday. And don't forget the JBT raffle for the 55-inch color TV. Have you got your ticket yet? If you haven't, you still got a month. The raffle isn't until July 13th. Okay. Get in all the way up to the drawing. You just send $10 to this Cash App right here. Okay. Let me see. All caps, $, all caps, JBT, Network 1. One more wake up. We are at the big fight, everybody. Tomorrow, Tank and Frank. I know Wednesday, Tank said Frank is going to sleep. Frank said Tank is going to sleep. Yeah. Yeah. Send $10 right there to get into the raffle. Okay. Oh, I don't know. Wow. That's the first time I ever heard that, Trump. Carlos KO Frazier in training. I can see that though, because Frazier was a small heavyweight too. You know. Carlos probably in between fights might have walked around the same weight as Frazier. I never heard that before, Trump. First time I ever heard that. Carlos Monzon. I'm gonna check it out though. Bruce Gas would be a good person to ask because he would know. He knows all those type of stories. Bruce Gas probably to talk to somebody that was there when it happened, if it happened. He have all kinds of people on his channel. He had this guy that wrote a book about Sonny Liston, Archie Moore's daughter, met all of them, you know. Yeah. Forgot the guy's name. That's the first time I heard that, Trump. Wow. I couldn't believe it. Frazier was smallish, heavyweight. Probably would be a cruiserweight now, you know. But Carlos was a bad man. He was one of those great champions from the 70s. I mean, in the 70s, man, shoot. Okay, Trump. He didn't knock him out. He knocked him down. He knocked him down, though. Yeah. I'm looking at looking at it right now. He knocked him down. They got Carlos on here telling the story. Yeah. True story, Trump. You were right. He didn't knock him out. He knocked him down. Yep. Carlos Monzon dropped Joe Frazier in sparring. Wow. That was the first time I heard that, Trump. You learn something new every day on here. Never knew that before. Wow. Dropped those Smoking Joe in sparring. Yeah. So it was 99% true, Trump. He didn't knock him out, but he dropped him. Yep. Wow. But yeah, I was saying, in the 70s, man, of the 15 weight classes, because, you know, most of them had unified champions back then. Most of those champions are in the Hall of Fame. That's how good the fighters was back then. You know, I have to look it up, but, you know, Roberto Duran, Salvador Sanchez, King Carlos, Ali, Foreman, Frazier, for heavyweight, Wilfred Benitez, lightweight, did I say Duran, Lupe Pintor, all those guys that were champions, all of them are in the Hall of Fame now. That's how that decade was, man, the 70s. That's legendary. When I did the show on all the decades, the 70s was one of the best ones, man. That was the golden era. The 70s. The golden era of boxing. Yes, it was. Yeah, especially for the heavyweight division. Can't believe it's Friday already. The big fight is tomorrow. Yeah, Canelo said he's willing to fight Crawford now, but they said on one condition. He wants a lot of money. Crawford needs to get up there and get him a fight in that division first before he go up against Canelo. Because, you know, you can do all the sparring you want, but nothing takes the place of under the lights. You know, in the actual fight, feeling how that weight feels over a couple of rounds, getting hit by a bigger guy in the actual fight over rounds. Because in sparring, you're working on stuff, you know. And your sparring partner is fighting you a certain way to help you work on that stuff. It's not like a real fight in there. You know, you can only take so much from sparring. So he needs to get up there and fight somebody at that division before he gets in there with Canelo. You know, you don't want to get up there and say, "Oh shoot, I done lost everything, my speed and everything up here at 168. Now I can't move like I did at 147. Oh, I'm in trouble." And now you're in there with Canelo and get knocked out. Look at Mel. Well, that was a money grab for Mel anyway. That's all it was, plain and simple. Mel went to get a bag. Look, he haven't fought since. Like, you know, I was always wondering what happened to Castano after the two Mel fights. I know now why he hadn't fought anymore. You know, the exchange rate in Argentina is like off the charts. They say like $500 in U.S. money is like 40,000 in Argentina. So Castano, the money he made from the 2 male fights, he went home to Argentina and became a billionaire. That's why he's not fighting. The man retired. He's a billionaire down there. You don't have to fight anymore. That's what happened. That's what happened to Trump. I'm looking at your name, Trump. That's what happened to Castano. Yeah. Trump says Crawford versus Ennis, Benavidez versus Canelo. Why is that so hard to make? Turk has the money. That's true. To make that happen. That is true. The fighters don't want it. That's the only thing. The money is there. Crawford doesn't want to take any chances of anything messing up a Canelo fight. He loses the boots. There goes the attraction of the Canelo fight. You know what I mean? So that's, so no, you don't want to do it. But Boots need to go to 54 anyway, though, because, I know he wants to be undisputed at 47, but he's not going to because the people ain't going to fight it. You got to get the guys with the other belts to fight you before you can be undisputed. Okay? And they're just not going to do it. Look at Cody Crowley. Came up with some kind of eye injury. Failed the eye test or something to get out the fight. I think he didn't want to fight Boots anyway, man. No, he didn't. But I didn't want the David Ebenezer fight, but you got to give David props. He's getting in there. He ain't scared. He's going to get beat up, but he ain't scared. He's getting in there. What you can say for Cody and some of those other guys, they just straight up scared. And people say no fighter is scared of another one. Yes, they are. How come they're not fighting Boots then? They scared. You scared? Say you scared. They're scared. They don't want to take that beating. Cody knew he was going to take a serious beating. Yeah, that one too, at 54. So it's Ortiz and Zoo off, right? That fight is off, right? Ortiz and Tim Zoo. Virgil would have been a good one to take Cody Crowley's place, but he's at 54 now. So yeah, they might meet at 54 eventually. But Trump, we don't know what kind of shape Virgil is in. Since that long layoff and the sickness he had, what was it, rhabdomyolysis or something like that? Did I say that right? Rhabdomyolysis or something? I was a fool to even attempt that, man. Rhabdomyolysis, I think that's it. But anyway, he hadn't even fought a whole round in the ring, so he might not have it anymore. We don't know. And so we got to see. He's never made it. That's right, Trump. So he might have to go in the 160. He's never made it. Neither one of those fights. He's never made it. And plus, he had that long layoff from the illness, and we still haven't seen him. He got the guy out of there the first round both times, both fights since then, remember? So we just don't know. I wouldn't want to find out he don't have it anymore against Boots. I mean, that would be terrible. But give David Aberdeen his props. He's getting in there with Boots, which a lot of them won't do. Look at Cody. Cody just said, I ain't doing it. My eye messed up. Cody said, I don't care how much money y'all got. I don't want to take that beating. He saw the Vila fight. Vila's a tough man. But you haven't heard from Vila since, though. He took a beating, man. For 9 rounds. He stood in there and took it. They should have stopped that fight a long time ago, man. Since like the 5th round. Well, 7th, seriously. They let that go like the 9th, like a couple rounds too long. And he took a beating. The man haven't fought since. We don't know what kind of shape Vila in. He might be still eating from a straw or something. Getting fed intravenously or something. We don't know what kind of shape that man in. Nobody's heard from him. Man might be in a wheelchair or something. Because his legs and stuff might have stopped working. We don't know from that beating he took from Boots. Cody Crowley might know something. He might have heard something that happened and said, "Oh no, that's not happening to me." But yeah, Just Do Boxing in the building. What's up, Just Do? The Voice coming up in 10 minutes. It's 3:49. 10 minutes. Salute to Just Do Boxing. Yeah, we don't know what kind of shape Vila is in. You know, the man might be brain dead or something from that beating. Who knows? Cody might know though. But yeah, man, give David Avenesian his props. I don't like the fight, but give him his props. He's getting in there. And that's more than a lot of them will do. So the man deserves some kind of credit for that. Just taking the fight. Cody didn't do it. Where's Conor Benn at? After his last fight, him and Eddie said they was looking for the big names at 54. Last time I checked, Boots was a big name. I'm not 54, excuse me. After Conor Benn's last fight, remember in Vegas? Him and Eddie Hearn stood in the ring after the fight and said, we're looking for the big, well, Eddie said it. We're looking for the big names at 47. And last time I checked, Jerron Boots Ennis was a big name at 47. So what's up, Eddie? And Conor, what's up? What's up? Huh? They scared. I don't believe in that fighters ain't scared of each other. Conor Benn is scared. Okay? Cody Crowley is scared. Yep. Where's Machidi at? Anybody know? Him and Boots was supposed to be the Boots and Vila fight, but Vila messed things up in that 12th round. Machidi was cruising, man. But see, that's what happened. Vila got chin and gas tank. And when you got chin and gas tank, you always in every fight. And see what happened, don't you? Vila's chin and gas tank keep him in the fight. Hey, you always got a chance. Because like I did on the knockout show, boxing is the only sport you can lose every minute, every second of every round and still win the last round. Like I was telling you yesterday, football, if you're 3 touchdowns behind in the 4th quarter, you can catch up. But you can't catch up by throwing 1 touchdown pass. It's going to take a minute. Like basketball, you're behind by 20 in the 4th quarter. You can catch up, but you ain't going to do it by 1 3-pointer. But boxing, you can be behind by 12, you can be 11 rounds to zip in the 12th round. And you can throw 1 punch and win the fight. That's boxing. And that's what, and Vila pulled it out. He wasn't that far behind, but he was behind. And he pulled it out. What did he get? 2 knockdowns in the 12th round? Chin and gas tank. Keep you in every fight. But it didn't keep him in the Boots fight. So I'm wrong. That's different though. Boots is different. Yeah, it didn't keep him in that one. But I would like to see what kind of shape the young man is in. Haven't heard a peep out of him. You know? In that beating, we think he walked away. That man might be still on his back down there in I think it's Venezuela, wherever he's from. Haven't heard nothing about him. But I know where Castano at. Castano is a billionaire down in Argentina. I'm telling you, man. $500 US money is $40,000 down there, man. So you imagine the 2 bags he got from the Mel fights. He went back down in Argentina and he was an instant billionaire when he cashed them checks. Castano said, I ain't fighting no more. I got $40 on me right now, so that's probably like 2,000 or 3,000 in Argentina. I can take this $40 and go to Argentina and have $2,000 as soon as I walk in the country. It's rough down there though, man. It's rough down there, yeah. Especially being a foreigner. That's a rough part of the world down there. It's South America, down that way, right? That is a rough part of the world. There's some tough people down that way. I wouldn't want to live there, man. No. Brian Norman again, yeah. He don't have nothing scheduled yet, do he, Tom? I don't think. Yeah. Now, the WBC gave him a bag, well, not a bag, a belt, didn't he? I think they did. I'm not sure. But guess what? I guarantee you Brian Norman ain't getting there with no boots right now. I guarantee you he won't do it. He will not do it. I don't know if he's scared, but he's not ready. He ain't getting in there with him right now. You know who I want to see Trump? Brian Norman and the young guy. Damn. His father's on the Hangout sometimes on Sunday on the old school show. What's his name? Damn, what's the guy's name before I go? Please, somebody. His father's always on the old school show on Sunday. Damn it. Jaleel Hackett. Yeah. Brian Norman and Jaleel Hackett. Who's fighting tomorrow? What's up, Melanin Queen 27? How are you? How are you? Good to see you. Mike Mazik says he's fighting tomorrow. Brian Norman? Hey, Mike, you told me yesterday you put a profile in the chat. Who was it? I didn't see it. I saw you said after the show that you put a profile in somebody's profile in the chat, but I didn't see who it was. It must have been too far up for me to see it. Yeah, Jaleel just do, right. It just came to me. I couldn't think of it. I would like to see him and Norman fight. But I guess they so young, they're not going to put them in there yet. Mess up a good bag later on down the line. That's the business side of it, yeah. Like we would want to see Keyshawn and Andy Cruz now, but they're going to save that. Let it marinate, as they call it. Yeah, the business side. And, you know, you can't be mad at them because they would put Andy and Keyshawn in there right now. They're leaving a lot of money on the table. Jaleel and Norman, too. Because imagine a fight like that a few years from now, how much it'll be worth? Both of them stay undefeated, let it build, let it marinate. Yeah, so you can't really blame the suits. If I was a suit, I wouldn't make those type of fights right now either. Although as a fan, I would want to see it, but as a business side of it, no. It's too early. So, you know, you don't have to like it, but, you know, it's a good point. It's too early for Keyshawn and Andy, and it's too early for Brian Norman and Jaleel. Now, we don't like it as fans, but, you know, looking at the business side of it, yeah, you want to maximize your product, right? If you own a business. So you can't blame them, you know? Really can't. You didn't, I was late too, Melanin Queen. I got here at like 2:30, but you're here. I appreciate that. You came in and gave me a like, the appreciation button, and it's appreciated. Mike, who was it, Mike? You said that you put somebody to be profiled in the chat yesterday. I couldn't find them. I was going to do it next Wednesday as my chat show. Yeah, I had a busy day too. Oh, you're still at work? Wow. Yeah, I was late. I didn't have the profile together like I wanted it, but you know, I still did it. I had been advertising it all week. Trump says, should Keyshawn get a TO shot if it's too early to play Andy? Oh man, see, that's a good question, Trump. That is a very good question. He probably won't. You know that? Probably won't. But see, he might could get to Keyshawn and Andy down the road would be worth a lot more than Keyshawn and Tio, because Keyshawn and Tio don't have a history like Keyshawn and Andy got. That's what makes that so intriguing. They got the amateur history where Andy won every one of them, and you know, now we're in the pros. They can really build that fight. Where Keyshawn and Tio don't have that kind of story, so put it on now. He ain't losing a whole lot from that. That ain't gonna be worth no more later than it is now. You see what I'm saying? But Keyshawn and Andy will be worth a lot more money a couple of years from now than it is now. But yeah, Keyshawn and Tio, put it on now. They don't have no kind of history or nothing like Keyshawn and Andy. You understand where I'm going? Yeah. Like I'm saying, Keyshawn and Andy now versus 2 years from now, you're losing a lot of money. That's how the suits looking at it. I know they are. They both stay undefeated. Nobody beats them. Say like 20, maybe late 2025. You know? Yeah. That's how I would answer that, Trump. But it's a very good question. That is a very good question. Very good. Something to think about. Yeah. But I done took you all the way up to the voice's doorstep. We knocking on the door now. He about to answer it in a couple of minutes because it's 3:59. Okay. Melanin Queen 27. Just Do Boxing. Real Prison Talk with Tommy. That's Coach Thomas Morris. Ray Patterson, straight out of New Jersey. Salute RP. Lonnie Lee, hashtag JBT. Florida's Mentality, hosted by and Black Excellence, hosted by Dr. Mark. Trump, appreciate you, Trump. Mike Mazik. Mike, where's that profile you said you had for me? Showtime the guy, PASS from St. Louis, Missouri. And Miss Cass, hashtag JBT. Appreciate everybody. Hope everybody enjoyed the fight tomorrow. I'll be back Monday with the JBT panel discussion to talk about it and a whole bunch of other stuff. Okay, it's time for Just Do Boxing, straight ahead. Might be started, but it's just about 4 o'clock. And I'm out of here. Everybody have a great day and a great weekend. Catch y'all Monday. Cass Sports.